Hello and welcome to Airdrie Public Library Virtual Programming. Today I'm going to take you through the design process of 3D modeling something and then getting it printed through us at Airdrie Public Library. So I'm just here on the Tinkercad.com website. You'll have to sign up to use this website. Once you do sign in, you should come to a page like this, and then we can hit Create New Design. And it'll bring us to the design workspace. So what I'm going to be creating is a little coin for my father. He plays a lot of pool or billiards, and he wants a coin so that we can decide who gets to break first. So I just dragged out this ruler because I know how big I want it to be, and it'll help me measure that. So I want this coin to be 35 millimeters by 35. And then I can middle click to drag around and get a better look at this. Right click to kind of rotate around. Let's make this 4 millimeters thick. This is a good base for our coin. Put that into the corner of our ruler, and then I can take this hollow cylinder. These striped shapes are called holes up here, and so when I put this together with one of our other shapes, and I can select both and hit the group button. You can see it actually cuts a hole into that shape. I'm going to undo that because I think it's a little deep and not quite centered here, so let's just make sure that's in the center. This is 28 by 28. Our coin is 35 by 35. Let's bring it up a little bit more. Group that and see how that looks. Be good, quite even, but actually this cylinder, I can see all the edges of it, and I don't really want that. So I'm just going to, I've selected the cylinder here, and I've gone onto the side here, and I'm going to drag up this side slider, and you can see that has added a ton more sides to it and makes it much more circular. I group these now again. That should be a little bit better. But same with this hole. We need to create more sides on this. Group that together, and there. It's a much more seamless circle. I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. Take out this cylinder. And I think it was 29 by 29. Turn up the sides on it, and then group it together. Oh, that punched a hole straight through it. We don't want that. I'm going to drag it up using this up arrow, and then group it together again. There we go. So now let's put some text onto it. I just dragged out this text on the side here, and I can make it bigger or smaller. And in the text box over here, I can type what I want it to say. It's going to be Wes's, one more text, pool, all. Now let's get these appropriately sized. How does that look? Pretty good. Maybe we can add a little more interest into it. I'm just gonna bring the box into here, make it really thin and flat, just to give it a little bit of an underline here. Then I'm going to actually duplicate this and put it up top too. Perfect. So I think I'm good with that side. I'm going to group these up again. So they're all one shape. And we can see that it actually turns it all to one color as well. Then we're going to flip it back over. And uh-oh, you can see the shapes on the other side. So we're going to have to ungroup these and make them not stick through on this side. Just by doing this. I grab this, just the text. There we go. And that looks fine on this side too. Perfect. Okay, this is our bottom. Now I'm going to make a little bit of a picture over here. I'm going to drag out some of these. And we hit Control D to duplicate. And I'm just going to lay these out like it is in the game. And actually, I think I might make some interest into this too by I'm going to hold Shift and select all of these. Move them back a little bit. Then I'm going to take these ones, move them forward just for a second. And select these middle ones and make them just a little bit bigger. Maybe not that much. It's snapping, so down in this corner here, I can change my snap grid to something smaller, and it'll snap into smaller increments. You can see I have much more finer control. I just want to make it a little bit bigger as it comes forward, so it kind of gives that perspective look. I think this is a little too much as well, so we're going to make that snap even smaller. And these need to be a little bit bigger. I'm holding Shift just so it scales uniformly. It might be too big. There we go. Now it gives the impression that it's coming out at you. A 3D. More 3D. And now let's make some pool cues. I'm going to drag out the cylinder. We're going to put it onto its side. Make it small and long. before I rotate it like that, I want to make sure I have it the right size. It needs to be a little bit thinner. Oh, more. And let's see how that looks over here. That looks pretty good. Let's make sure it's attached to the rest of our coin. Now I'm going to do the same thing I did earlier, using Control D to duplicate, and then rotate it around. That looks pretty good, but I'm not actually sure that those balls are centered on our coin. So I'm going to put this ruler right in the corner, select everything, and make sure I have it lined up with the ruler. But 35, half should be 17.5, I think. Let me pull out my calculator just to make sure. 35 divided by 2, 17.5, yes. So we can see that this here is at 16. We need to move all of this over a little bit just to make sure it's in the center. Oh, and we're getting a different measurement from there. Oh, so it's measuring to the edge of the ball, not to the center. So we're going to have to do some quick math as well. Ball is 4.3 wide. So 16.2 plus half of 4.3, 2.25, or 2.15, sorry. So actually 16 is in the center. Look at that. We had it right all along. Let's just make sure these cues are centered. There we go. I think this looks good. I might make these pool cues a little bit longer. They kind of stick out the edge. We don't see the ends of them. There we go. That looks pretty good. I can group these. It should all turn one color if it worked. Yes. Okay. And now we have our coin. Let's just take a look at it both sides again. Ooh, yeah, we've got the bottom of those balls sticking through the back here. So we're going to actually undo that and ungroup it. Maybe we can flatten these somehow. I'm going to select all of them at once so that I can edit all of them at once. just by holding Shift and clicking on them. Okay, I think I have all of them. Now I can flatten them a little bit and raise them up. And I turn them into pancakes. And I don't think they're sticking through the bottom anymore, so that's perfect. And now we can group them. Perfect. So now I have my coin. I'm going to name it full coin. And here's the next step. So I hit export in the top here. And I want to make sure I'm exporting everything. And then I can export it as .obj or .stl. Both of them work, but I prefer stl. So that's what I'm going to do it as. So it might take a second depending on the complexity, but once it's done, it'll ask you to save it. All right. And then from there, we can go to the Airdrie Public Library website and go to Library Services, 3D Printing. Scroll down to the bottom here, and we can fill out this online form. And right here is where I would put that STL file that we just exported. All right, well, thank you so much for sticking around and learning how to do this with me. I've been Adam, and have a good day.